The final session for day one, I attended the education stream, and that was really very interesting. The first speaker was Sarah Thistle, and she was talking about the ways that Family Planning Victoria has been able to engage within the sector of young people to ensure that they have information, because there is a large amount of resources there, but a lot of young people don't know how to actually tackle those resources. In particular, how do you go to family planning, what happens with confidentiality and things like that. So there's some really great advances within that area. The next speaker talked really quite amazingly about the absolute lack of information about the queer community within the Indigenous communities of Australia, and how, if there was any information, it was that this group was hypersexualized. And he did reference recent Indigenous comedy shows that just show that gay Aboriginal males are portrayed as hypersexualized and really quite a different to what is the truth and what is the reality for a lot of men who have sex with men within that community. And so there is work going on to increase the knowledge and increase the understanding of queer native theory, and bringing an Indigenous focus on non-heterosexual relationships within that community. And with that comes, how do we deliver a health message to queer Aboriginal men, which is what's got me really thinking. Unfortunately, I was only able to listen to one more speaker, Tiffany, and her talk was amazing, where she was talking about the correlation between poor outcomes in GLBTI members of youth and the school system. And it was quite disturbing, actually, that what was found, that schools that did not have policy that protected difference from a sexuality perspective, that these kids were at higher rates of physical and homophobic abuse, suicidal ideation, and in many cases action. However, in schools that did have protection and did have education that was available for young queer people, this made a significant difference to safety, and also that these kids were more likely to stay in school, and this is very, very important. The same goes for the trans community and also for the intersex community as well. 23% of trans kids are going to be dropping out of school, and despite the fact that it's considered, there are legal statutes saying that these kids have to stay in school, and it's quite disturbing with the intersex community. 18% of these kids have not got an education beyond primary school. So clearly there is a long way to go to create positive and helpful representations for GLBTI community within school and education. And this is important recently with safe schools and in other areas that clearly show that we are just not servicing this community well at all. And we need to really put some focus in on the creating supportive resources that are useful, helpful and digestive, not just for our target market of GLBTI youth, but also for teachers, also for educators and those within that sector, to make sure that they are aware of being culturally sensitive to this group of people. Really a very fascinating session, and what I think is going to be exciting is that for me, coming from a medical perspective, it's really made me think, well, how open am I? Am I creating spaces and educational resources for young GLBTI people to be able to move forward as well? And this is an exciting area, and I think that if we can tackle this area, we can help ensure that these young people are not only not going to kill themselves, not going to be abused, not going to be beaten up at school, but also stay in school, stay educated. And these could be our future our future doctors, our future educators. These are the people that we really want to foster. They're a vulnerable community. Let's look after them. Fascinating, fascinating afternoon of education, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow where I'll be blogging continuously. Have a great day. See you guys. Bye.